There are seasons in life when nothing seems to be happening. When you work and the world does not notice. When you give everything you have and receive nothing back. When the people around you are blooming and you are still in the ground. These seasons feel like failure, but they are not failure. And this is the story of a young man named Kabir, who spent 10 years growing roots that nobody could see. And then, something incredible happened. In a small village on the banks of a wide river, there lived a young man named Kabir. He was not the most talkative person in the village. He was not the most successful. He was not the one people pointed to and said, "That boy will go far." He was just Kabir, the one who painted. From the time he was a small boy, Kabir had loved the river. Not just for swimming in it or fishing from it or washing in it the way everyone else did. He loved watching it. The way the light changed on the water every morning. The way the river looked completely different in the rain than it did in the summer. The way the mist sat on the surface in winter mornings like something breathing. He began painting it when he was 15. With cheap colors and rough paper and a brush he made himself from old cloth. Every morning before the village woke up, Kabir sat on the riverbank and painted. His father was old now. His body had slowed. The fields that had fed the family for decades still needed working, but his father's hands and legs could no longer do what they once did. So Kabir did it. Every morning, he painted the river before dawn. Then he came home, ate whatever his mother had made, and went to the fields. He worked until his back ached and the light faded. Then he came home and prepared his canvas for the next morning. He never complained. He never said, "I wish I could just paint." He just did both. The village noticed his painting early, and the village had opinions. The art teacher at the village school, a man with a certificate on his wall and an answer for everything, looked at Kabir's work one afternoon and shook his head. "The river does not look like this," he said. "You are not painting what is there. You are painting something in your head. That is not art. That is dreaming." Kabir said nothing. He went home and painted the river the next morning. The village talked. Ramesh's son got admission to the engineering college in the city. Everyone celebrated. Suresh's boy passed his board exams with top marks and was already being considered for a government job. The tailor's daughter got selected for a teacher's training program. And Kabir? What will painting give you? People said. You cannot eat a painting. You cannot pay rent with a painting. That boy has no sense, said the older men. Such a shame, said the women. His parents work so hard, and he just sits at the river with his colors. Some said it with pity. Some said it with the quiet satisfaction of people who enjoy being right about someone else's failure. Kabir heard all of it. He went to the river the next morning and painted. The years passed. Kabir painted in summer when the river was low and you could see the stones on the bottom glowing gold in the heat. Children splashed and laughed in the shallows behind him. He painted them too, small figures in the water, arms wide, faces turned up to the sun. He painted in monsoon when the river became something fierce and brown and magnificent and terrifying all at once. Women stood at the bank washing clothes, slapping fabric against the wet stones, talking to each other over the sound of the water. He painted them without them knowing. He painted on the morning of the village festival when 1,000 small lamps were floated on the water and the whole surface became a moving sky of light. Old men sat on the bank with folded hands and closed eyes, lips moving in quiet prayer. He painted the lamps and the prayers and the darkness between them. He painted on ordinary mornings when a young mother came to the river before sunrise and stood there alone for a few minutes before the day began, just standing, just breathing, before turning back to the village and everything waiting for her. He painted when he was tired. He painted when he was sad. He painted when the fields had been hard and his shoulders ached and his eyes wanted to close. The river was never empty. It was never the same, and neither were the people who came to it. He painted because the river was always there, and because something in him believed, without being able to explain why, that what he was doing mattered, even when nobody agreed. Nobody taught Kabir how to paint properly. There was no teacher willing to take him seriously, no art school in the village, no one to sit beside him and show him what he was doing wrong. So he taught himself. Every evening after the fields, he would look at the morning's painting and ask himself, why does the water not feel alive here? Why does the light look flat? Why does this not feel like what I saw? Then he would try to fix it the next morning. He failed. Again and again he failed. His early paintings were rough and uncertain. The colors muddy. The proportions wrong. The river in them looked like a river the way a child's drawing of a face looks like a face, recognizable but not real. He knew it, and he kept going anyway. He began studying the light more carefully. He would sit for an hour sometimes without painting at all, just watching how the morning light moved across the surface of the water, how it changed every 5 minutes, how the same stretch of river looked completely different from the same spot, depending on whether there was one cloud or two in the sky above. He started waking up earlier, 4:30, then 4, then sometimes 3:30, just to catch the exact moment the darkness began to lift and the river went from black to the very first shade of blue. He filled notebooks with observations, not drawings, just words. The river today was the color of old copper in the first 10 minutes. The mist was thicker on the left bank than the right. The light hit the water at a different angle than yesterday because it is 3 days later in the season. He read whatever he could find. Old magazines. A torn book about color theory he found at a market in the next town. A calendar with paintings by Indian masters that he kept on his wall and studied every night before sleeping. He experimented with mixing colors in ways nobody had shown him. Getting it wrong. Mixing it again. Sometimes an entire week of mornings would produce nothing he was satisfied with. He did not throw those paintings away. He kept them, studied them, tried to understand exactly where they had failed so the next attempt could be different. Nobody saw any of this. Nobody knew about the notebooks or the 4 a.m. mornings or the weeks of failed experiments or the calendar of Indian masters worn thin from being looked at every night. They only saw Kabir sitting at the river. They thought he was just sitting. He was building something. One quiet morning at a time. One failed painting at a time. One small discovery at a time. 10 years of invisible work that looked from the outside like a young man wasting his life at the river. 10 years passed. Kabir was 30 now. His small room was full. Paintings on every wall. Paintings stacked in every corner. Rolled canvases tied with cloth stored under the bed and behind the door and in every space that would hold them. Nobody had seen most of these paintings. Nobody had asked. By the time Kabir was 25, every boy he had grown up with had moved forward. Mohan was a teacher now. Salim had opened a small shop in the bazaar. Vikram had gone to the city and was earning enough to build his parents a new house with a proper roof. At weddings and festivals, the questions came without fail. So Kabir still painting? Still nothing happening? Someone's uncle said, that boy will never amount to anything. He had his chances, and he chose colors over common sense. A neighbor told his mother, you should make him stop, before it is too late, before he wastes his whole life. His mother heard these things and said nothing. But her silence in those moments was its own kind of pain. Kabir heard it all, and every morning before the village woke up, he was already at the river. One morning in the cool month of November, a car arrived in the village. A man stepped out. He was from the city, well-dressed but not showy. He had been invited by the village school to judge the children's annual painting competition. He did this sometimes, visiting schools in the region, encouraging young students, giving back in the small way that felt right to him. He spent the morning in the school looking at drawings of birds and trees and rivers and houses made by children between the ages of 8 and 14. He gave out certificates. He said kind things. He meant them. After the competition, he took a walk along the riverbank. He was not looking for anything. He was just walking. Then he saw Kabir, sitting on the bank, canvas in front of him, brush moving slowly, eyes going back and forth between the river and the painting with a concentration so complete that he had not heard the man approach. The man from the city stopped. He looked at the painting on the canvas. Then he looked at the river. Then he looked at the painting again. He stood there for a long time without speaking. Finally, Kabir noticed him and looked up. Sorry, the man said. I did not want to disturb you. How long have you been painting this river? Kabir looked at him. 10 years, he said. The man was quiet. May I see more? He asked. Kabir took him to his small house. The man walked through the door and stopped. He turned slowly. Every wall, every corner, the stacks, the rolls, the years and years of the same river in every possible light and season and mood and moment. He did not speak for a very long time. Kabir stood quietly and waited. Finally, the man turned to him. His expression was not the polite appreciation of someone being kind. It was something else. Something that looked almost like recognition, like seeing something you have been searching for without knowing you were searching. He said, you have not been painting a river. You have been painting time itself. Every morning for 10 years you sat here, and you caught something that no camera and no other painter has ever caught. What it feels like to watch the same living thing change across an entire decade. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I want to show these paintings to the world. Will you come with me to the city for an exhibition?" Kabir looked at him. Then he looked at the paintings stacked against every wall of his small room. 10 years of mornings that nobody had seen. He said yes. The man's name was Rajan. He was not just an art collector. He ran one of the most respected art agencies in the city. He had spent 20 years finding artists whose work deserved to be seen and placing their work in galleries, exhibitions, and collections across the country. In 20 years, he had signed very few artists. He was careful. He only worked with work that moved him. Kabir's paintings moved him. He came back to the village the following week. He sat with Kabir for a long time. He asked questions. He listened. He looked at every painting carefully, not quickly the way someone looks at art to be polite, but slowly, the way someone looks when they are trying to understand something they have never seen before. Then he placed a simple contract on the table. He would represent Kabir's work, arrange an exhibition in the city, handle everything, the framing, the transport, the gallery, the invitations. All Kabir had to do was agree. Kabir read the contract slowly. He had never signed anything like this in his life. He picked up the pen. 3 months later, Kabir arrived in the city for the first time. He had never been. The noise and the size of it overwhelmed him at first. The roads, the buildings, the crowds moving fast in every direction. Rajan met him at the entrance of the gallery. Kabir's paintings, all of them, were hung on the white walls with careful light falling on each one. He stood in the center of the empty gallery before it opened to the public and looked at what 10 years of mornings had become. He did not know what to feel. On the opening evening, people walked in slowly and spoke in low voices. Kabir stood in a corner and watched. He saw a woman stop in front of the river at monsoon painting and not move for 4 minutes. He saw an old man touch the frame of the winter mist painting very gently, as if it were something alive. He heard someone say to their companion, "I grew up beside a river, and I have never seen it look like this. But this is exactly what it feels like." By the end of the evening, every painting had a small red dot beside it. Sold. Rajan came and stood beside Kabir. He said, "This is only the beginning." His father came to the gallery, old now, moving slowly, his mother holding his arm. He walked through the room quietly, stopping in front of painting after painting. He did not say anything for a long time. Then he stopped in front of one painting. The river on an early morning. A specific quality of light. Pale gold and mist, and the water completely still. The father looked at it for a long time. Kabir came and stood beside him. The father did not look at his son. He kept looking at the painting. Then he said quietly, "I remember this morning." That was all he said. He put his hand on Kabir's shoulder. And that was enough. The exhibition changed everything. Within weeks, people in the city were talking about Kabir. Art critics wrote about him in newspapers. A television channel came to interview him. A young man from a small village who had spent 10 years painting the same river and become one of the most talked about new artists in the country. He sat in front of the camera quietly. Still the same Kabir. Still with paint on his hands. Still more comfortable beside a river than in a television studio. They asked him, "How does it feel to be famous?" He thought about it for a moment. Then he said, "I don't feel famous. I feel like someone who finally got to show people what he has been looking at for 10 years. The interview was broadcast across the country. In the village, people gathered around televisions and watched. The same people who had said, "What will painting give you? You cannot eat a painting." The same people who had said, "That boy has no sense." The same neighbors who had told his mother to make him stop. They watched Kabir on the television screen speaking calmly about his work, about the river, about what 10 years of mornings had taught him. And they were silent. His mother watched from her chair in the corner of the room. She did not say anything, but her eyes were full. Kabir came back to the village the following month. He walked down the same lanes he had always walked, past the same houses, past the same banyan tree in the village square. People greeted him differently now, some with pride, some with embarrassment, some with the particular awkwardness of people who said the wrong thing for 10 years and do not know how to say sorry. Kabir greeted everyone the same way he always had. He did not remind anyone of what they had said. He went to the river the next morning. He sat down in his usual spot. He opened his colors. And he painted, not because he was now known, Not because people were watching. Not because anything had changed about the river or the light or the morning. He painted because that is what he had always done. And that is what he would always do. My dear friend, what is your river? What is the thing you keep returning to every morning? Even when nobody sees, even when nobody cares, even when the world tells you it is not worth anything. Because here is what Kabir's story teaches us. Some seasons are for roots. Some seasons are for fruits. The root season does not feel like growth. It feels like standing still while everyone around you moves forward. But underground, where nobody can see, the roots are going deeper. You cannot have the fruit without the roots. And the deeper the roots, the stronger the fruit. So if you are in your root season right now, show up tomorrow morning the way Kabir showed up at that river. Your season is coming. If this story touched something inside you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Someone in your life is in their roots season right now, doubting themselves, wondering if any of it is worth it. This story might be exactly what they need. And if you are new here, welcome to Mystic Life Tales. Every week, we bring you stories like this one. Simple stories with deep lessons. Stories that stay with you long after they end. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you never miss one. Until next time, keep painting your river. Whatever your river is, keep painting it.